Are there any problems in working on metal?
I've been working on metal since '83, and so far there haven't been any problems with the work. I think what I like about it is it allows a lot of resistance, and I paint very physically, and I paint with an extended stick. The brushes are
And I see
attached to.
there's a few shiny spots. Do you leave those spots showing?
Yeah, it's not something that's predetermined. It's just something that if I think it's going to work, I'll leave it there.
Well, I think it's also nice to see the surface, because to see the surface and the process is part of it, of course. Where was this? This looks like bagpipers?
Yeah, it's a combination of two images that I had of bagpipers that were practicing on a field here in Fort Lauderdale, and a photo that I took out at Anna Maria Island, which is on the west coast of Florida.
So they were actually playing the bagpipes on the beach?
No, they were playing in a field, but I had done a previous piece with them in a field, and I wanted to try out what it would look like with them here on the beach. I know it for a fact that there are actual bagpipers that have played on the beach, but I like the idea of how the stems of their instruments worked with the high grass and the dunes.
So would you consider this a study, or is it finished work of art, or both? Or
No, I like the fact that it has that feel of it being a study, but no, it's a finished piece. There's ultimately going to be a change in the proportionality of a brushstroke to a smaller dimension, and I really like the way it works at a small scale.
you have a lot of understatement in your work. I like the...
Well, I worked hard at it because I tend to throw too much crap in them. So.
Yeah, to put on and then
I'm
take
always
away.
reducing.
Well, that's what I like about Milton Avery's work too. Less and less,
Yeah.
and I just thought of him immediately when I saw your background space. It's just wonderful. And where was this done?
This was inspired by a photo that a friend of mine took. He goes fishing in Canada every year. And I took that and I combined it with some other images that would work for this theme that I was having, that there would be a group of people all gazing off the picture plane to something that we don't know about. And they're sort of suspended in that way.
And here they are again, also gazing off the picture plane. Where was this one? And what are these? What are these embossed areas in this piece?
Well, this, as well as a lot of the pieces that here have this sort of distressed hammering that's creating a shape.
Do you do that yourself, or do you find the pieces?
No, I do it. And this is something that I've planned and sketched out, these different shapes that I wanted to work with in the formalist stage of the piece. The original one, it was actually going to be carved out and replaced with a different material.
These studies are kind of a shorthand. Your own handwriting, your own shorthand. When you look at these, can you see the whole painting?
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea that I try to hone in a general idea of two different important things that I want to occur. I want a representational image to be evident, but I also want a formalist sculptural abstract element to be working at the same time.
Can I just go through these and just take a look? Let's see. So,
it's pretty clear here. You're seeing things that aren't in the completed works. For instance, here, this is that same beach image with this strong delineated shape, and that was more in terms of getting the kind of shape that I wanted. I didn't want it to be so evident in the finished product.
As drawings, they really stand up, and this page really stands up. Will you be showing these at your exhibition?
Well, I know my art dealer is encouraging me to do that.
I think they're wonderful as drawings that either as companions to your work or on their own.
Well, here you can see the inspiration for a portion of this piece here that has the bagpipe players. If you pan over there.
Sure. We have this, and we have this. So you actually don't depart very much, but I think the reason you don't depart very much from your photos is because you can already see the painting in the photos.
Yeah, but I'm also trying to keep it conventional as I can, because I'm trying to incorporate another element that is, it could be considered somewhat radical in terms of what you were doing with a conventional image, and that I want it to be treated as a sculpture and as something that has another shape, that is introducing something that doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's what you were seeing with those dark lines creating the
So I don't
puzzle
understand
pieces.
your reference to the sculpture.
Well, if you look at it might be clearer there's a shape that's banged out of here, for instance. And in my sketch, it's a very strong, black, delineated shape.
And that's the sculptural effect that you're alluding to when you talk about that.
That is, it's also raising and warping the picture plane significantly, in some pieces more than others. If you were to pull over to the left and look at it from this angle, you'll see a protrusion.
Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it that way. Can you lift it, or is it attached?
Well, I think what you want to do is just look at it at a really sharp angle. And if you look up here, you'll see there's a whole protrusion here of the picture.
It is. It certainly is not a flat painting.
And if you look at...
Now, let me ask you something. What do you feel that this adds to the finished product of the painting? This idea that there is not a flat surface and there are protrusions and hammerings and all of that.
Well, it's an intuitive shape. I can't really tell you where these particular shapes come from. I think, to me, in this case, it's a bit more obvious, because if you were to look at the shape of this little cul-de-sac of water as it's cut out here, it's a big D. And then here you have sort of a topical view of the same shape that's pulling up. So you have a Cartesian space with the vanishing point pulling this in, and then you have this sculptural element as if it was a section of different shapes that were working with each other. And it takes a lot of time for it to come to you, and that's what I wanted. I wanted there to be an interaction between the two where you can't make a clear distinction.
Okay, now on this piece, we're looking at it from the side, and it seems that the wood structure you have underneath it is an arc. Arcs out in the middle on this side, then narrows again at the top, and then as we go around to the other side, we go past this bit of bumpy light green area here that pretty much goes right down the middle of the picture. And the amazing thing to me is that it doesn't split the picture in half. And then the edge on this side is extremely even. So when we even are looking from this angle, we see the edge on the other side jutting out. We've been looking at the paintings of Christopher Mangiaracina, very beautiful works of land and sea, all with so much artistic intention and physicality and philosophy of life and philosophy of art